we established a great network, and now it's really up on us to pick out the right ideas, the right feedback, to incorporate that into our existing product, to make sure that we are as adaptive as we can, and as a company, to really serve those negatively affected by the COVID situation. We developed and increased the sensitivity to the issue. We had the chance to speak to experts in the field like Alex Gregg and others who really challenged our solution, gave us sort of the type of input you would expect you get from an expert network. And that was absolutely valuable. So it's really up on us to put the right items in our development, so to speak, and on the product roadmap, and make use of the input we generated throughout the hackathon. SkillLab is a relatively young company, and the idea to start SkillLab really roots back to the European refugee crisis. So 2015-16, we've observed that refugees and migrants arriving to the European Union were struggling to identify their skill sets, express their skills, and connect to opportunities on the labor market. So that's really how SkillLab got started. And in a somewhat ironic way, you could say we're a crisis company. We soon learned that the sort of needs refugees and migrants were facing, and we've been trying to sort of mitigate by technology, were relevant for other job seekers in positions where they have been out of the labor market for a long time, have been displaced, threatened to be automated, or their jobs being automated. And these type of structural trends were somewhat reinforced by the developments now we've seen in the COVID situation. The COVID situation really sort of changed what we call structural development into something absolutely dramatic, as in when you look at job numbers and prospects and statistics and studies suggesting a strong increase in unemployment, not even taking in the underemployment element of labor markets. So this is really a severe situation where we're hoping to make an impact and difference with our technology. We use artificial intelligence to make data sets manageable for the end user, so to speak. In particular, we use skills taxonomies. For example, the EU's ESCO framework, which is sort of the European Skills and Competencies model, is comprised of not less than 13,500 skills and 3,000 occupations in relation to each other. Trying to compile a skill profile out of that information for the individual without the help of technology is almost, I want to say, impossible. I don't want to exclude the possibility, but it's very difficult to manage this and very inaccurate. And what technologies really help to do is make relevant data manageable, so to speak. And that's why we're tapping into the resources available. One thing we very quickly realized is that a single company in that space can only be as good as its ecosystem. We live in times of I want to say information overload. There's a jungle of options. There's a jungle of opinions. There's a jungle of things you can do or could do. And I think what really everybody in that space needs is reliability, confidence, and ultimately best practice. So the more solutions tend to be in a stable and universal environment, I think the better they work and the more chances they have to actually also succeed. And to my understanding, initiatives like Dell for All really help to create these cases, to create that type of reliability and certainty for young companies like ours to thrive and sort of orient themselves in that complexity of information. We started cooperation with learning providers, but also trying to map out local educational offerings. And there's a high relevance when it comes to matching from skill profiles to education. As much as we see an individualization and personalization on the sort of assessment side, we see a sort of positive increase in opportunities and sort of speak market access when it comes to the education side. And we absolutely do believe that the technology enables end users in the future to be way more targeted, way more personalized, and tailored, so to speak, to specific needs of individuals or communities as a whole, to really sort of get the most out of the ecosystem.